I was really pleased because it's complicated study and statistics are always complicated. So the fact that a lot of people said that they understood it, I was really pleased because that was my goal. So, yeah. Well, the study has been going on since 1997. So that's one study, but then there were precursor studies, I'd say at least 20 years. And it's always team effort. So, I mean, this is not me on my own. There's lots of us, and people are expert. Like on our team, we have people who are expert in statistics. I'm not. I mean, I'm good at explaining them, but I'm not good at like inventing them at all. So it's a big team effort, and it takes a long time. And in the last election in the United Kingdom, all the parties, when they were writing their manifestos, none of the parties had early childhood very high on the agenda. They had health, I think they had migration, which was really high on everybody's agenda. But as they went around knocking on doors, the parents, the families were interested in early childhood. So, I mean, I guess what's really made us happy is that it actually is from the bottom up. The politicians don't necessarily want to make early childhood their main interest. But when they knock on doors, the voters want it to be. And I think we had the data so that we could feed the parents with information about how important it was. So I can say that in terms of the training of your teachers, you're probably in the bottom 40% for Europe in the qualifications you require of your teachers. But that's not terrible, and it may be financial. I mean, this is a country that, has had real financial difficulties and is just finally out. So, I mean, I wouldn't rate you by where you are. I would rate you by where you aspire to be. And so I think that this is a country that is going to aspire to have a well-trained workforce. I have confidence in the Irish. I mean, we're all of Europe is working hard for better education. And in each country, they have to decide, should it be in secondary, should it be higher education, should it be early years? These are very, very difficult decisions. And I think all countries are working hard. It's just a question of putting together the political consensus, because education is political. Ministers don't sit and say what they think is best. That's impossible. Ministers have got to put together what they think will be effective with what they think the voters will appreciate, vote for. So I'm very sympathetic to politicians. Their job is much harder than mine. Mine is just to do educational science and say what's best for children. Theirs is to look at that and then also to think about all the other competing needs and to think what will the voters actually support. So they have a very difficult job. And so I, as an educator, my main goal is really to get into dialogue with policymakers. I will not always win because research should not dictate policy. Policy has to do with values. It has to do with kind of other competing policies. So I don't think research should define policy. I prepared my presentation to be accessible by parents. I mean, I didn't prepare it for other scholars who work in my field. It would have been much more technical, much more statistical. I mean, I really wanted to talk to parents, and I wanted to talk to elected members, your politicians. That's my intended audience. I would like to see parents, but these people are parents also. Forget this audience, they're all parents also. So, I mean, I think that Maynooth has brought together a really very, very good critical mass. I think it's really, really good. Maybe a few more head teachers. But, yeah.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure. You were genius. Thank you very much.